The Burj Al Arab, the multi-million-dollar icon at the heart of Dubai, the United Arab Emirates' fastest expanding city, hosting, once again, one of the most exciting events on the international motorsport calendar. Now, in its 16th year, the UAE Desert Challenge is the final event of the FIA and FIM Cross-Country Rally World Championships, and traditionally the battleground for those down-to-the-wire struggles for the world titles. This year is no exception, as once again the vast desert dunes of the southern UAE's empty quarter provide the ultimate backdrop for the ultimate desert race. And it's the strongest ever lineup of drivers and riders who this year have accepted the invitation from the event's founder, Mohammed Ben Sulayem, himself a former Middle Eastern rally champion and WRC competitor. The motorcycle world title will be decided here, and two former multiple world rally champions are lining up to do battle. Carlos Sainz of Spain and Ari Vatman of Finland. We asked the Finn what had brought him back to the UAE.
This is my third one now, and I mean, this place is an amazing place. Dubai as a whole. This event is very compact, tough. You can't do any wait and see game as you can do in Paris-Dakar. Here you have to go from where to go, and I mean, what else? That's what competition is all about. Yeah, you don't hang around here.
Well, Mark Keimer rarely hangs around, but the world champion is facing a major threat.
My first time that I am in Dubai Rally, and that I never can win. I hope that this year. But yeah, it's a really difficult rally. The competitors are pushing all the time, and we find a lot of dunes and sand. That's good training, because in this condition it's really difficult training, no? So we have this race, 5 days long race in front for us, and we can get the experience, we can get the feeling on the dunes, and for us it's a really important race for this, no?
2001 Dakar winner Jutta Kleinschmidt is looking forward to the desert.
It's a very difficult race because it's, I think, 80% sand and sand dunes, very difficult ones. The temperatures are very high, so this means if you are good for temperatures with the car here, you will have also no problem, for example, in the Dakar, because it's not as hot as here. And the dunes are difficult to drive, but it's a lot of pleasure. It's a lot of adventure also, because you never know what happened during the day. And yeah, looking forward to do it.
The pressure will be felt most by this man. He won here last year. It's Mitsubishi's Stefan Peter Hansel.
Now there is a lot of very fast driver, and the race will be very open. So it's I'm very happy for that, and I will try to keep my trophy. But I know it will be not very easy.
There's nothing to do really with driving. Driving in, you know, in an open field like that, you don't have braking, you don't have apex, you don't have line, you don't have technique. It's a completely different technique. You need to learn how to read the dunes, how to pass the dunes, which way is better, and that is giving you the experience of doing kilometers in those conditions.
It's a cliché, but I mean, I survived my accident in Argentina, where I very nearly died. Let's put it bluntly. I have participated in many funerals in my life, many more than most of my friends, which have made me to realize the value of life. And I'm incredibly privileged to be able to be here. And when I drive, I'm not a mercenary. I drive because I'm fascinated by life. I'm passionate about motorsport. And I think that explains, although I'm kind of a father figure, but I'm a very fast father figure.
Some philosophy there from two former world rally champions. We asked Mohammed Ben Sulayem about the event's unique character.
They say it is the road to Dakar. I'd like to keep an identity. I don't want to imitate anybody's walk, you know. I will lose my own way of walking. I would like to keep our identity. We are not Paris-Dakar. We don't want to be Paris-Dakar. Maybe we cannot. That's a legend. But we can be the Desert Challenge, UAE Desert Challenge. And how to keep that is by, yes, giving them demand and also being in contact with them. The rally is not over on Friday. No, if you keep the good relationship with the teams, they might come when they don't have to. I don't want them when they have to. I want them when there is an event, they come to us. And that's the reason my telephone number is accessible to every single driver.
Well, communication is the key, of course, when you're dealing with a route of such epic proportions. Over the next 5 days, these crews will be facing the equivalent of roughly 5 WRC events rolled into one. So both they and their vehicles have to be 100%. Scrutineering, where all entries are checked for technical compliance and safety, was once again held in Dubai's vast Battuta Mall. Before the field could leave the bright lights of Dubai behind, however, there was one last task to be completed. And with it came the first real taste of action. The prologue, a super special of 2 kilometres in the very heart of the city, where spectators could witness at close quarters some of the biggest names in international motorsport. So, as we can see, few of the competitors appearing to treat the spectator special as anything other than a full-blown chance to shake out any last-minute problems. A lot of attention obviously focusing on this man, Stefan Peter Hansel, last year's winner, out to defend his title. Jean-Louis Schlesser, also a former winner of the Desert Challenge, was putting his 2-wheel drive buggy through its paces until 2 rear punctures brought him to a halt. An inauspicious start, to say the least. Also behind the wheel of the new Mitsubishi Pajero NPR 13 Evo was reigning Dakar champion Luc Alphan. While proudly flying the flag for Russia was the driver who had the 2006 FIA cross-country rally title sewn up before it even started the event, Sergei Smakov. The other notable Russian entry was that of 2 Kamaz trucks, a formidable presence even in the vastness of a desert. And indeed, it was impossible for anyone to ignore the daunting prospects of what lay ahead. The rally proper was to kick off from its start in Abu Dhabi and head south for 5 day-long stages in the deserts of the United Arab Emirates. The first stage was a 284-kilometre dash south across largely graded tracks. A fast stage without the challenge of the dunes further south, but a challenge nevertheless. founder Mohammed bin Salem flagged competitors away from the official start ramp in the shadow of Abu Dhabi's Emirates Palace Hotel. Ahead of the bikers, a struggle between Mark Coma and David Casteau to secure the world title. And the cars, a struggle for supremacy over the next 5 days, and the invaluable chance to put their vehicles through the toughest challenge possible prior to the forthcoming Dakar Rally. So the first stage, something of a gentle introduction to the deserts of the southern UAE. But 280 kilometers in punishingly hot conditions is more than a wake-up call for even the most experienced of them. By November, the worst of the summer's heat has subsided, but with daytime temperatures in the shade touching 40 degrees, the term gentle in this context is perhaps a touch on the hopelessly generous side. The reigning world champion Mark Coma started with a bit firmly between his teeth. Only an outright win here would give him a chance of retaining his title. And with redesigned space frame chassis and modified engine, Mitsubishi were hoping the MPR-13 Evo would give them their 8th victory in the Desert Challenge, while Volkswagen were also fielding a new version of the Touareg. David Casteau of KTM was keeping everything crossed. The last-minute challenge from Coma was a long shot, but a real danger to the Frenchman's title hopes. Mark Coma's teammate Jordi Villadams would, of course, be on hand whenever possible to come to Coma's rescue should the Spaniard come up against any problems. South African Mark Corbett started the rally at the top of the leaderboard, having achieved the fastest time through the prologue the previous afternoon in Dubai. And Ari Vatanen, the self-proclaimed father figure of the event, and as he put it himself, a very fast father figure indeed. Well, by the midway point of the stage, bikes and their riders were both forced to refuel, the bikes topping up their tanks and the riders replenishing their own hydration systems during a 15-minute break. First of the cars through the passage control was Mitsubishi's Look Alfand. Followed closely by the Volkswagen of Carlos Souza. And meanwhile, not very far behind, Ari Vatanen was quite obviously enjoying himself. Middle Eastern honour was being stoutly defended by Nasser Al Attiyah of Qatar in the X-Ray BMW X3. Fastest by PC3, however, was Carlos Sainz of Spain in the diesel-powered Volkswagen Touareg. While the fastest of the bikes seemed to be Mark Coma, reporting no problems with the KTM. Former challenge winner Jean-Louis Schlesser was enjoying a comeback in his two-wheel drive buggy, but last year's winner Stefan Peter Hansel lost over 20 minutes when he damaged the steering of his Pajero on a dune. So results of the first stage showed Carlos Sainz of Spain in control, 5 minutes ahead of Mitsubishi's Look Alfand. Nasser Al Attiyah keeping firmly in touch with the leading two. In the bikes, Coma had made a confident start, opening up a 6-minute lead over Cyril Dupre. David Casteau taking things very carefully indeed. And so the opening day's action in the desert came to a close. Yes, it had been challenging, but the really big stuff was still south, just over the horizon. Join us as we head for day 2 action after the break. Welcome back to our report from the 2006 UAE Desert Challenge, the final round of the FIA and FIM World Cross Country Championships. Well, after an overnight halt at the Morib Bivouac, a 6:50 a.m. start was to be made into the second stage, perhaps the toughest of the event. 304 kilometres in total, the first 120 or so over fast tracks, but thereafter deeper and deeper into the dunes of the empty quarter. Well, the bivouac, a hive of activity right into the early hours of the morning as teams made their repairs and adjustments. The drivers and riders, in theory, getting their rest before a hard day in the sand. And first bike away next morning was leader Mark Coma. We caught up with the Spaniard at the first control to ask how his rally was going.
Only the first day, so we have 4 days more in front now, just the race start. But well, it's better start good, but not bad now, so I'm really happy. But today is the second day and we will see what happens.
Mark Comer, no stranger to the extremes he and the other bikers will be facing as the route takes them south into the empty quarter. And shots from the helicopter giving us the first real glimpse of the vast stage on which this drama is played out. And there was something of a drama developing in the chase for the lead among the cars. Carlos Sainz had started the day with a healthy margin between his Volkswagen and the Mitsubishi of Luc Alphand. But by PC2, the Frenchman had overhauled the Spaniard. Sainz wasn't about to let Alphand disappear into the distance, however, and by the time they went through the control itself, he was hot on the Frenchman's heels. Starting from 9th after his steering problems of the previous day, Peter Hansel was making up for lost time. Ari Vatanen, co-driven by the immensely experienced Fabrizio Pons, was taking a conservative approach to the day's stage, the first which took the cars into the high dunes. While his teammate Sainz chased the tail of the leader, Vatanen seemed content to play a waiting game. Well, patience may be a virtue to some, but obviously not Jean-Louis Schlesser. 5 times a winner here in the UAE. By day 2, he was making it clear he'd like to make it a 6th. And while the 2 leading stars of the Volkswagen team held the limelight, Portugal's Carlos Sousa was quietly making a big impression. Jutta Kleinschmidt lost 15 minutes in some of her BMW's front bodywork after getting stuck in a dune, while her teammate Nasser Al-Attiyah was forced to stop with a broken drive shaft. The service crew worked rapidly, but by the time the BMW was back in the rally, nearly an hour had been lost. Epic views there of what surely must be one of the most challenging landscapes on Earth. Well, back on stage, and Carlos Sainz was defying the 40-degree heat and charging through the dunes, still in hot pursuit of the leading Mitsubishi. But Alphand had opened up the gap, despite starting the day with a 3.5-minute deficit to the Spaniard. Mark Comer's progress continued unabated, although running first through difficult terrain meant he was caught by Isidre Esteve, and eventually Comer's own teammate, Jordi Villadans. Appeared to be off Luc Alphand, while the veteran buggy driver Jean-Louis Schlesser appeared to be enjoying himself immensely, showing no obvious signs that two-wheel drive was any kind of handicap. While the leading Volkswagen now appeared to be that of former Portuguese rally champion Carlos Sousa. Ari Vatanen had spent a costly 10 minutes digging himself out of the sand after misjudging a line over a dune, while his teammate Carlos Sainz had seemingly disappeared. Our chopper crew found him, though, stopped in the dunes with gearbox failure. His challenge for Alphand's lead was well and truly over. Stefan Peter Hansel was dragging himself back up the order, although the Mitsubishi driver was complaining that it was difficult to get a good rhythm going because of the deep dunes. While the local challengers of Team Liberty, Ahmed bin Sukwat, were just beginning to get their teeth into it. And meanwhile, heading up the Kamaz trucks was the monster driven by Rustam Minakhanov, Prime Minister no less of the former Soviet Republic of Tatarstan. Also attempting to make up for lost time, Nasser Al-Attiyah, here seen overhauling Mark Corbett, was pushing his BMW X3 to the absolute max. We caught up with him and the rest of the leaders back at the bivouac.
We have a good run, until CB3, and after, we lost 1 hour, we have broke drive shaft, and it was really bad luck, because we have good run, and I decided to come again to service to checkpoint, and we changed the drive shaft, and after I continue last 100k, but we lost, I think we lost 100, 1 hour. But it's good we are here now, and we'll try tomorrow do our best, and because the rally is still long.
Today it was not very easy. It was only off-road, never on the track, only dunes. But it's okay. It's much better than yesterday for me. It was not very easy to keep during all the days the same rhythm. But the car was perfect. Never stuck. No problem with the car. It was a good day.
Conditions are just terrible because it's absolutely too hot. Too hot. At the beginning, this morning was quite fine because even the outside temperature was not so high. But then it was terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Dune section are difficult because it was 90% dunes today and really sound tracks. But together, there's maybe 6-7 big dunes. They were hard to pass, but the difficulty today was the heat. It's really warm in the car, and all together combined to the pace. The pace we need to have. Together with the blue cars, all the stress we have together. So we push, and we are losing lots of water. I finished my water in the car. It was still 100 kilometers to go. And at the end I was almost struggling for that. So we have really to drink, but you are scared about, peeing in the car, but it's difficult. We start really fast at the beginning, try to catch up Carlos Sainz, and after we were together, but of course he pulled over, and then we had to make the pace and to be in front. It's always difficult to be first. Yeah, Carlos, I overtook him, and then he was in my bumpers. He was during 150 kilometers, 5-10 meters behind me. So not the real pressure, but it was really close in the dunes. It's easier when you follow somebody, so you can see all the holes. So he was behind. That's the game, He was, and then suddenly he was not there anymore. So I don't know what's happened to him. If it's a problem or if he gets stuck, I don't know.
Well, Sainz's problem pretty terminal, so after stage 2, Mitsubishi at the head of the leaderboard in the shape of Alfand. Jean-Louis Schlesser's two-wheel drive buggy in second, the Volkswagens of Sousa and Batnen following up behind. Coma, Dupre and Villadoms leading the bikes. We asked event organiser Mohamed Ben Saliam if he had any predictions.
I think it's early even to say who's going to win the event. Anything can happen during the rest of the 3 days. I believe there are 3 demanding days, and the temperature is acceptable. I know it's a bit more than normal for this day of the year, but hopefully it will change. So let's cross our fingers and just hope for no accidents.
Well, Mitsubishi has won the UAE Desert Challenge on 7 occasions, and Alfand will be looking to make it 8 wins for his team. But without the backup and resources of this, the biggest and most successful works team in the championship, it would be a futile hope. As his team said about another night's work, we asked Mitsubishi manager Dominique Cerise about the effort behind the backup.
The entry of the UAE Desert Challenge is like the last preparation, the last commitment before the Dakar Rally, who is for us the main event during the year. And as Mitsubishi Motors is involved in the cross country, we will be in the January 2007 the 25th times that Mitsubishi is entry in a cross country, and mainly in Dakar. For sure, we are coming here over 14 years without any stop, 92 until now. This is a very tough race, very strong, area, dunes, the weather, the temperature, the camelgrass, the off-road section. And for us, it's very important to come here to do like the last preparation, even also for the drivers and the co-drivers before January meeting. I think the main definition or the main topics, as we could put in the first, this is the team spirit. For sure, the top driver like Stéphane Peter-Hansel, Hiroshi Mashokar, Luc Alpin, I am pushing and I am always, working on the team spirit. You are so strong when you are very, welded, and when you are separated. Even the both of all of them are in the alone car. Pilot and co-pilot, this is an individual team or queue. But in fact, if you want to win, you have to be a team spirit.
So the end of leg 2 and Mitsubishi are in control. We'll be back in the desert after the break.
There's no feeling like M3 power. Push the button and feel the boost in performance. Introducing M3 Power Nitro. The first battery-powered shaving system from Gillette now has a bold new look. Turn it off.
Welcome back to the UAE Desert Challenge. Stage 3, and ahead of the competitors lay another 260 kilometers of deep sand and huge dunes. Mohammed Ben Saliam explains what's in store.
It is longer, it's not like yesterday. Yesterday is a bit faster, and normally every time there is, people, you cannot keep everybody happy. They come and said, oh, today is better, then the third day is better, so we take a combination and do it. See, the stages are very, I am a bit stuck of just making everybody happy. It's just, you cannot, it's an impossible mission. So what I do is I go there and just check and make it average. First of all, yes, I think of the supercars. So also, I think also of the slow cars, the amateur. I'm not going to spend hours and days looking for somebody stuck in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere. No, you have to do it for the average driver or a rider to finish this 400 or over kilometers and come back.
Safety, as always, the top priority. Well, after a 3-hour delay due to early morning fog, which reduced visibility to less than 50 meters, Stage 3 got underway in traditionally blistering conditions. So rally leader Luc Alpin once again setting his sights on maintaining a healthy distance between himself and the chasing pack. Stéphane Peter-Hansel was also determined to make up for lost ground. 5th after leg 2, he had the 2 surviving Volkswagens firmly in his sights. Few would have guessed just how much of a challenge Jean-Louis Schlesser would offer the works teams. The 58-year-old Frenchman grew up in Morocco but didn't come to desert racing until late in a career, which saw him race in touring cars and Formula One. The only woman ever to have won the Dakar, and a former bike racer, Jutta Kleinschmidt, suffered a minor setback late in the previous day when she lost over 20 minutes stuck in deep sand. While the Kamaz of Rustam Minikhanov was now the sole survivor in the truck class. Despite having dropped out of overall contention, Carlos Sainz returned to the fray with his transmission problems solved, hungry for that much-needed experience in the sands of the desert. bike through the third stage was that of Spanish rider Jordi Viladans. Followed closely by another Spaniard, Isidre Esteve. Last year's challenge winner Cyril Dupre still held second overall. While David Casteau, sitting comfortably in fifth, knew that just a finish in this event would guarantee him the world title. While many competitors are less than enthusiastic about running first through a stage, the obvious lack of a clue with regards to navigation being the biggest problem for the first through. No such problems seem to exist for Alfand, however. And a little local knowledge may have helped top place UAE driver Yahya Alali in 11th. And Jean-Louis Schlesser again showing two-wheel drive to be perfectly up to the challenge as long as the driver knows how to use it. Well, both Volkswagens of Carlos Souza and Ari Vatanen were keeping in touch, but certainly not showing the pace they'd need if they were to catch the Mitsubishis. And Nasser Al-Attiyah was on a charge. The Qatari held 7th position at the start of the leg and was soon into a flying pace, with the Doha driver passing teammate Monterd before PC1 and running as the fastest car on the stage. And oozing unstoppability, Minicano's truck rolled on. By leg 3, leading quad was Sebastian Husseini of the Netherlands. Nasser Al-Attiyah experiencing a little navigational difficulty at the end of the third stage. No such problems for bike leader Mark Comer. He, if anything, backing off a little just to conserve the bike. A tactic employed too by car leader Luc Alfand. Although, as you can see, Jean-Louis Schlesser had a near disaster when he lost almost all of the front bodywork from his buggy after hitting a dune too hard just 4 kilometres into the stage. Jutta Kleinschmidt, meanwhile, reporting no problems with the BMW, while Carlos Sainz had joined the rally once again after his transmission was repaired overnight. Yahya Alali maintaining his position as leading UAE driver. But Ari Vatanen's chances of a win disappeared entirely after PC2 when his transmission also failed. While for many of the back markers, the most important task of the day was to keep out of the way of the dune-eating Kamaz. So fastest on this, the third special stage, was the now flying Stefan Peter Hansel. Followed by teammate Luc Alfan, sticking to team orders to let Peter Hansel through and take the pressure off his own car. Schlesser making it to the end of the day with the loss of 10 minutes and the front of his car. While Jutta Kleinschmidt finished the stage 6th fastest. But it was teammate Nasser Al-Attiyah who caused a stir, setting 2nd fastest time of the day behind Peter Hansel. Carlos Sousa of Portugal appeared at the finish control as the leading Volkswagen. And still sticking with it just for the experience of the sand, Carlos Sainz. So no obvious threat to Alfan's authority at the top of the table. Teammate Peter Hansel 22 minutes behind, with Schlesser a further 3 minutes adrift. The Volkswagen challenge effectively over. Things a little tighter with the bikes. Comer still with 7 minutes over Dupre. Championship leader Casto safe back in 5th. Well, stage 4 was a monster. 380 kilometres east and north of the rally's desert base at Marie. This, according to reports, would make or break the rally of many. Well, again, early morning fog brought a delay to the planned start time of 6:15, but just over an hour later, with the sun still fighting to get through, leg 4 was underway. Join us for the concluding stages of the UAE Desert Challenge after the break. Welcome back to our report from the 2006 Desert Challenge. Leg 4 of 6, a 380-kilometre marathon, represented one of the biggest challenges of the entire event. The last of the legs to run through the epic-sized dunes of the empty quarter. The day's total competitive mileage more than the typical distance of an entire World Rally Championship round. Mitsubishi's Luc Alfan, last year's Dakar winner, a former World Cup downhill skier, and unless some sort of disaster strikes, the man who's likely to win this year's Desert Challenge. Well, Carlos Sainz out of contention for the event, of course. He pulled out of day 2 with gearbox failure, but he's back running just to gain the desert experience he'll need for next month's Dakar rally. And Nasser Al-Attiyah of Qatar, he's surprised many with his turn of speed. He's got a lot of rally experience, but this is a new car, the X-Rated BMW X3. Still a few issues to be ironed out. Husseini of the Netherlands there, he's the leading court still. And this is a rare sight indeed on this sort of event. 2 of the leading competitors side by side after no less than 340 kilometres of racing through the dunes. Mitsubishi's Stefan Peter Hansel is passed by the Volkswagen Touareg of Carlos Sainz. Nasser Al-Attiyah was slowed by engine problems caused by, he suspected, blocked filters. While rally leader, look, Alfand had been given definite team orders to back off to conserve that car. Stefan Petter-Hansel, though, no such orders from the team, so he's still giving it 100%. Meanwhile, Jean-Louis Schlesser had recovered his bodywork from the dunes and was once again on a charge. The one remaining Volkswagen still in contention was that of Portuguese driver Carlos Sousa, still in 4th spot, but well and truly out of touch at the top 3. While Jutta Kleinschmidt was also doing her best to keep out of trouble. American Chris Blaze had started the day at the head of the bike field, but was soon overhauled by overall leader Mark Comer. In 3rd overall, Cyril Dupre had an uncomfortable day after a heavy landing destroyed his bike's seat just 40 kilometres into the stage. Well, after a brief stop to refuel at PC2, the cars faced the rest of the stage. Carlos Sainz with little to lose, of course, having dropped out of overall contention a day or so earlier. He maintained the pace, which would give him the stage win, while Petter-Hansel upheld Mitsubishi honours. Alfand, meanwhile, was still doing his very best to preserve the car despite the tough conditions. And as you can see, he's succeeded. At the end of leg 4, all 380 kilometres of it, Alfand was still safely there at the top, 20 minutes ahead of Petter-Hansel, with Jean-Louis Schlesser a further 10 minutes adrift. Well, it was a sad end to the event for Ari Vatanen. After just 27 kilometres, the Touareg's diesel engine failed and the Volkswagen ended the day on a tow rope.
It was not very easy today. It was a long day. The beginning of the stage was very hard in June. The end was better, faster, but sure, it was really a very hard day. This morning we jumped dunes and we broke something, and we big shock. And after we drive just a little bit slowly.
We have a very good run, and you know, we don't have any problem. But I think we lost some times in last 100k. I don't know. I don't feel the cars run well. But you know, I said okay, just we go to finish. But it's good. We finished second, and we jumped to 4 upper hole now. I am happy with this performance, and I hope try tomorrow win the stage.
Long, pretty good at the beginning till CP2. We had a good rhythm, but you know, the boss asked to reduce the speed a little bit because Schlesser was far away, and also Carlos Sousa. So that's why I pull over to let Sainz pass, and also Alatia. And I drove after the end with Alatia behind, so it's always safer when you feel when you follow somebody. So pretty good day, nothing stuck, no problem with the car. We just had a small dune, same place as Petter, so we let the front wing, but that's okay. Nothing too serious. The car is okay. We still, you know, and we began to think about the final result. We are leading, quite good margin, almost 20 minutes. So. No, one more day to go. Cool.
Meanwhile, with the bikes, Comer had widened his lead to 18 minutes over Dupre, but Casto was still there. American Chris Blaze was up to 5th.
I had a good day, not too many problems. Started out first today, it was my first time, and 60 kilometers and Como passed me, so tried to follow him for a little while, and he was just going really fast today. He was charging hard, so I decided to stay back a little ways, and I gradually lost a little bit of time. Just like 4 minutes behind at the refueling, and still nobody else passed me. Had a good ride till there, and after that, just started to get, you know, a little bit dehydrated. I loaded up, you know, with extra water, and didn't have any other problems. I broke the seat on the bike, just landed hard off some, you know, off a dune. It's hard to see everything, and other than that, it was pretty good.
Well, on to the last day of what had been a gruelling event. 2 stages, 5 and 6, leading field back north out of the empty quarter and back towards the rally's finish in Dubai. The bigger dunes safely behind them, but fast, undulating desert tracks and smaller, tightly packed dunes still offering many opportunities to make a disastrous mistake this late in the day. The Kamaz truck of Rustam Minikhanov still ploughing ever onwards. As indeed by this stage with the KTM of leader Mark Comer. With a finish and a maximum point score in sight, his priority was simply making it there without any major incident. Cyril Dupre now resigned to 2nd overall. And of course David Casteau, he's ridden to plan throughout. No silly mistakes, no undue pressure on the bike. Just a finish here no matter how far behind leader Comer, and he'd snatched the Spanish rider's world title. Alfand of Mitsubishi, that little tumble on the dune yesterday, a sharp reminder that all could still be lost even at this late stage. Peter Hansel also now under team orders just to get to that finish. And Jean-Louis Schlasser, well, with Peter Hansel backing off, 100% drive might just get him a 2nd place, but the Frenchman seemed content to settle for 3rd. So the end of the final day's stages and more fastest times for the Touareg 2 of Carlos Sainz, all of which bodes well for the Dakar entry, just so long as the transmission and engine problems are dealt with in the meantime. The real winner, however, was Luc Alfand in the Mitsubishi. The Dakar winner could now add a win here that has a challenge to his already impressive CV. His teammate Peter Hansel finishing 2nd, and the 2-wheel drive buggy of Jean-Louis Schlasser 3rd. Sousa the leading VW, and Alataya maintaining BMW honours.
We had a pretty good week, the whole good week. No big mistakes in the navigation, never stuck, never puncture, it's always in the car running, so that's the secret of rally. A good car and never stop.
Well, among the 2-wheeled entries, it was Mark Comer who came out on top of the heap, maintaining his lead from start to finish. Cyril Dupre 2nd and Jordi Villedom's 3rd. It was David Casteau of France who was celebrating most, though, having successfully secured the world title.
I'm really happy, no? It's my first time that I winning the Dubai Rally, and for me it's important, no? We are 2 months before the Dakar. For us it's a good thing, no?
Well, Mohamed Ben Salem greets 3rd place Jean-Louis Schlasser, the highest placed 2-wheel drive entry and without doubt one of the most popular drivers on the event. Last year's winner, Stefan Peter Hansel's second spot this time, but if he was going to have to give up his crown to anyone, it couldn't be a more suitable recipient than his teammate, Luc Alphand of France, the 2006 UAE Desert Challenge winner. So celebrations carrying on into the night at the marina here in Dubai. Time to reflect on the successes and, for some, indeed the failures. Once again, the UAE Desert Challenge providing a fitting climax to 2 World Championships and, of course, one of the toughest challenges in off-road motorsport.